Masters feature, biggest field of Masters we've had all season. 13 of them going to cut it loose here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. This is how they'll roll off. Josh Mullins and Bill Plemons make up row number 1. Then Mark Swan and Philip Young, row 2. Scott Mosley, Mike Chambers in row number 3. James Fox, Greg Gresham in the 24 is row 4. And Tony Armbruster and Dwight Pierce round out the top 10. Lisa Young, Steve Carpenter, and Lamar Chambers finish out this 13-car field. 2 by 2, the pace car pulls off. Mullins in control. Green flag in the air in the Masters feature.
The field will hectically move through turns 1 and 2. Cars make contact. That puts us under the yellow here. The 24 car of Greg Gresham that started ping-ponging back and forth between the outside and inside lane. 16 of Dwight Pierce involved. You see the 10 car of Lamar Chambers stopped, and that puts us under yellow here. We're going to look at a replay. Look at this restart, Ryan. Initial start of the race. Good jump there for that 12 car, or the 21 of Josh Mullins.
24 right there goes middle, 3 wide. Got a little hot into the corner. There's the initial contact. Then goes low, and there's more, and that forces him right back up the racetrack. Then a pretty decent hit. I believe that was the 5 car. Tony Armbruster, that 5 car that was on the bottom of that contact. And then, of course, the 16 car of Dwight Pierce stuck on the outside. And then Lamar Chambers stopped to avoid the whole thing altogether. So we're going to lock this field back in. 20 laps to go. They did not come to the flag and complete a lap. So Josh Mullins still going to be the control car when we go green over Bill Plemons in the 15.
It's one of the most competitive fields of Masters cars we've had here at Atlanta Motor Speedway in a long time. Take your pick at the front of this one. Josh Mullins in the 21. It's won here at Atlanta Motor Speedway before. Mark Swan, Bill Plemons Jr., Philip Young, Scott Mosley. The top 5 as they run have all won here at this quarter-mile Thunder Ring, and any one of those could make it happen again here tonight. Will it be a veteran here? Bill Plemons Jr.? Will it be a newcomer? Scott Mosley and Josh Mullins? We got 20 laps to find out in our Masters feature race.
See that 24 car of Greg Gresham making sure he's not leaking any fluid over there. That's what the track crews are tending to in turn number 2. Obviously, that 24 Gresham was what started the incident into turn number 1, middle 3 wide, and as Caleb said, ping-ponged back and forth off 2 cars, and making sure he's not spreading anything on the racetrack that will hinder the drivers, don't want to cause any incidents.
Yeah, we got track crew working out, telling everybody to work to the bottom of the racetrack so that the field crew or the track ops crew can work around the racetrack. It actually looks like there's a bit of some fluid down on the racetrack. So, see him pouring a little bit powder down onto the racetrack to soak up the fluid that is on the track as the red flag waves here. Speedy dry is what it looks like.
You know you were going to get curling tonight with your racing.
The Olympics are on the way as the red flag is displayed here in our Masters division. We sit under a bit of a stoppage as our track crew goes hard to work on the fluid over in turns 1 and 2.
think again. NASCAR returns to its hottest track for the first round of the Cup Series playoffs. It's high speeds and higher stakes with championship hopes on the line. It's gonna be epic, and the best place to experience it is right here. Don't miss the Quaker State 400 available at Walmart, kicking off the NASCAR playoffs in an epic way, September 6th through the 8th.
What can we learn from a child?
That spreading joy
is more important than a trophy.
that when we help others,
We heal ourselves.
That with a little love,
We can make the biggest impact.
At Speedway Children's Charities,
our mission
It's simple.
help every child we can.
because all children deserve joy.
And hope. And love.
And if one child is still in need,
then there's still work to do.
because their future
Is our future.
and there's still so much they can teach us.
So the Masters lining back up to go green once more after the incident in turn number 1. The 24 car of Greg Gresham was the one for the caution. Track crews got Speedy Dry out onto the racetrack. Gonna roll through it and try to spread it out. Keep the cloud down once they go through it at race speed. They're gonna line them up again as they started due to the fact we did not finish a lap. Obviously the cars involved in the incident go to the rear, but other than that, everything else stays the same, which means Mullins is going to lead this field to the green flag.
Mullins in that 21 machine put down the quickest time in qualifying, followed by Mark Swan, Bill Plemons Jr., Phillip Young, and Scott Mosley. Field works right through that Speedy Dry that soaked up the fluid. As the field works back, double file here, getting set for their restart. They've still got 20 laps left on the board. Who's going to pick up a Masters feature victory here tonight? July 3rd, round 6 here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Front row, Josh Mullins, Bill Plemons Jr. And what a sight it is. The sun glistening off of these racing machines. The shadows starting to build into turns 3 and 4. We are racing in the Masters division. Mullins with a jump.
Not a good start there for Bill Plemons on the outside. He's going to fall back to 5th. Contact with Phillip Young. They're 3 wide there in turn number 2. Cars making their way down the back straightaway. Josh Mullins the leader, then Mark Swan is in 2nd.
Mosley in the white 15. He settles into 3rd. Just behind him, the orange 7 of Phillip Young. Out front, stretching his lead, is Josh Mullins in the 21, followed by the 14 of Mark Swan.
Josh Mullins comes around and wins here at Atlanta. That is what he does. Caution flies on the racetrack. The 10 car, that's Lamar Chambers, spun around on the back straightaway, exit of turn number 2. 1 lap complete before the yellow flag flew. So this big field of Masters trying to feel it all out right now. The one who's felt it out the most, Josh Mullins, he has a pretty sizable lead when that yellow flag flew. 15 car of Bill Plemons did not get going good on that initial start. Fell back to the 5th spot. And in a points battle with Phillip Young, that's not what Bill Plemons needed.
The field working single file. Going to have single file restarts from this point forward. We've completed 1 of our scheduled distance here. 20 laps is our full race. We've got 1 down, 19 to go. Field turns back to the attention of Mullins. He gets to the restart cones. Green flag in the air. And we're back underway in our Masters feature race.
Scott Mosley to the inside of Mark Swan into 1. Going to tuck back in there single file, and around goes the 24 car. Again, Greg Gresham going to bring out a yellow flag here. 3rd caution. This Masters feature, we've completed 1 lap. So they're going to rack them back up single file and let them loose again. The 21 of Mullins got a really good jump right there.
So we just saw a single file restart. We'll try that again here as the lights are down on the pace vehicle, which means we're coming to the restart. 19 to go. Still left for Mullins, Swan, and Mosley. Those are your top three. Green flag in the air off of turn 4. Back to the stripe. Mosley peeks to the inside for second place. Going to think better of it. He'll settle into third. Everybody works off of turn number 4. Back to the start-finish line. This lap's going to belong to the 21 of Josh Mullins. 2 down, 18 to go.
Josh Mullins, pretty sizable lead over the field. That car just looks to have speed. The rest of them do not right now. Second through fifth, however, in a tight battle. It's Mark Swan, Scott Mosley, Philip Young, and Bill Plemons. That's how 2, 3, 4, and 5 run, but Philip Young trying to look for some speed and get around Mosley.
$15 laps remain here for the leader out front, Josh Mullins. He stretched his lead over second place by about 2 seconds. Over the 14 of Mark Swan, Scott Mosley, Philip Young, and Bill Plemons Jr. Those drivers all tucked nose to tail, battling for second. Those 4 cars can't seem to get away from one another, but one's going to have to if they're going to catch leader, Josh Mullins.
That yellow or that orange 7 of Philip Young, the points leader, car spins in turn number 4. Looks to be the 76 car of Steve Carpenter that got around there in the 4th corner, bringing out the 4th yellow. This Masters feature race. Have 6 laps complete, 14 laps to go. Josh Mullins still out front. But I was touching on Philip Young, that 7 car running in 4th right now, the points leader. Behind him, Bill Plemons Jr., who's 2nd in the points, 11. Separate those two as they run 4th and 5th. So the further apart those two finish, the more these points change and shift as the year goes on. Here's the replay, left side of your screen. There's the 76 car. Carpenter. Middle working left, just looks like he loses it there at the exit of turn number 4.
Quickly, the field tucks back nose to tail here for a single file restart. Josh Mullins over Mark Swan. That's 1-2. Back to the start. And green flag back in the air. Mullins with an excellent jump. He has come to play here tonight.
The 21 car just keeps firing off better than everyone else. Like I mentioned earlier, it just looks like it has more speed under the hood. Maybe Josh Mullins is just doing that much better on the initial fire off. It's a pretty good lead already on Mark Swan. Swan doing a nice job holding down second place. I've been talking about Philip Young and Bill Plemons, but Mark Swan only 15 points back. from that lead, and he has a car between himself and the top two, so could be a big night for Mark Swan. First place looks to be difficult, but if he could hold off Scott Mosley for second, and Young and Plemons could stay in that fourth and fifth spot, that'd be a pretty decent jump for Mark Swan, a chance to really make things interesting in the last two rounds.
Well, he's got a mirror full of that 15 of Scott Mosley. I don't know how much longer he's going to be able to hold off here. Gets a good run off the corner there, but opens up the door for Mosley into turn one. Not going to make the pass. Mosley there, sides back to third. Down the backstretch into turns 3 and 4, working back to the stripe, halfway down, halfway to go in our Masters feature race.
Well, now this could be dangerous for Mark Swan. It looks like he's going to be able to clear Young, maybe not. Into turn number 1, Philip Young dives in there, left tires through the grass. Scott Mosley got around Mark Swan, and Mark Swan now looks like he's under fire from Philip Young.
He's trying to hold on to third, but here comes Philip Young closing the gap, bringing that 15 of Bill Plemons Jr. with him. As we're coming back to the stripe, 8 laps to go this time by. Best battle on the track is between Mosley, Swan, Young, and Plemons Jr. They come across the stripe, 8 laps to go this time by.
Swan had a run right there, had to check out of it at the last second, and that made him lose spots, but Scott Mosley got around Mark Swan, but it doesn't look like he's pulling away at all. In fact, it looks like Mark Swan is right there. He knows how important getting around that 15 car is for his point standings. A 1-spot difference means something, but not nearly as much as a 2-spot difference, and that's what Mark Swan's looking for over points leader Philip Young right now. Heavy dive into turn number 3 all over that back bumper of Scott Mosley.
Scott Mosley's been able to take over second place, but he hasn't been able to hunt down leader Josh Mullins at all. If anything, he's still got a threat behind him of Swan, as we've got a caution that comes out here on the front stretch. It is that 24 of Greg Gresham once again. 6 laps on the board remaining, and that will bunch the top 5 back up here for a restart. You see the restart cone knocked out onto the racetrack. And it puts us under yellow once again in our Masters feature race.
See middle of your screen right there, that 24 car caused the incident leaving turn number 4. Again, that's 24 of Greg Gresham. So he's towards the rear end of this field, not having the night he was looking for here in the Masters feature race. He's been involved in every incident to some capacity. And his 3rd incident is going to send him to the garage officially. So that'll be the end of the night for Greg Gresham. Be the first car to retire from this Masters feature race. This 13-car field has all stayed out on the racetrack so far. The story, other than Josh Mullins pulling away from everybody at the drop of the green flag, has been the battle between 2nd and 5th. Scott Mosley, Mark Swan, Philip Young, Bill Plemons. Swan, Young, and Plemons, the top 3 in the points. Philip Young, your points leader. He has 2 wins this season. Mark Swan 1, Bill Plemons 2. So those have been the guys to park it in victory lane. If everything follows the trend that tonight's had, it looks like Josh Mullins going to join that winners club. He's just been able to pull away in the corners, on the straightaways, initial restarts. Had to deal with some lap traffic. It didn't slow him up one bit, so Mullins has been on fire tonight. Question will be what happens between Mosley, Swan, Young, and Plemons when we get back going. 6 laps to go, 14 laps complete in this Masters feature.
We've got a 6-lap shootout to the finish here. Josh Mullins, Scott Mosley, Mark Swan, Phillip Young, Bill Plemons Jr. That's your top 5, 6 laps to settle it.
Josh Mullins in the 21 there, a bit of a veteran move, checked up right before the cones, forced some brake from Scott Mosley, and then fired off. But Mosley did a nice job not letting that 21 pull away just yet. Coming to the stripe, going to be 5 more laps.
Close to Scott Mosley's been all night to Josh Mullins, but that lead is starting to grow over second place Scott Mosley here as we've got 4 laps remaining for Josh Mullins, who's dominated this one since the drop of the green flag.
I think the big story here is going to be that 14 car. He is, however, falling away from Scott Mosley in that white machine in second. Obviously, the 3 running 3rd, 4th, and 5th are the top 3 in our points. Mosley and Mullins just joining us here for round number 6. Caution will fly. The 16 car, Dwight Pierce, spins on the entry or on the straightaway, and with 3 laps to go, Josh Mullins going to have to fire off nicely once again to hold off Scott Mosley, Mark Swan, Phillip Young, Bill Plemons. We've said these names plenty of times. I'm sure you know them by now, but they are the heavy hitters. Here's the replay on our Spree cam. And the 16 car goes around. That again is Dwight Pierce. So we're going to have a green-white checker. So Josh Mullins is going to get the green, come around, grab the white, and try to find the checkered flag. Scott Mosley, though, an aggressive driver. He's been beaten quite a few times on restarts. He saw the little checkup from Mullins last time. Be interesting to see if Mullins switches that strategy up. Will Scott Mosley make a move? He's obviously not racing for a championship. Neither is Josh Mullins. So these two just going to get after it.
Lights are going to be down at the line here. Green, white, checkered finish to this one. This is how they'll line up for a single file restart. Nothing has changed at the front of the field. Josh Mullins, followed by Scott Mosley, Mark Swan, Phillip Young, and Bill Plemons Jr. That's your top 5. 3 of the 5 have won this season at Atlanta Motor Speedway. 5 of the top 5 have won here before in any event at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Who's going to get it done tonight? Green in the air. Josh Mullins on the jump once again.
Josh Mullins, another pretty good pull away, but Scott Mosley going to lead the bumper in there. Slides the 21. Corner exit to 2. Still Josh Mullins' race. Scott Mosley has showed his hand. Behind him, Mark Swan falls under fire from Phillip Young. Young through the grass. Plemons looks to the outside. White flag in the air one more time.
Mosley tried to get there on the restart. He might have 1 or 2 more shots at it. Drives close to the bumper of Mullins. Mullins powers off of turn 2 and down the backstretch for the final time.
Scott Mosley made the move, but it wasn't enough. Josh Mullins off of turn number 4 dominates the Masters feature. He gets the win. Mark Swan going to finish 3rd. Young 4th. Plemons 5th. Again, those are the top 3 in the points, so Mark Swan is going to get the most available out of those 3. Josh Mullins had a powerful race car tonight. Scott Mosley's 15 got there, gave him a bumper. Both cars got a little squirrely, a little loose on the exit of 2, but both of them able to keep it in control. And then Josh Mullins said, I'd had enough of that. He fired off down the back straightaway on that white flag lap.